Alexa, let's chat.
Welcome to the finals of the Alexa Prize, a university competition to advance AI. I'll get you a socialbot now. Hi, this is an Alexa Prize socialbot. How's it going?
The Alexa Prize is a $2.5 million university competition for university students to advance the state-of-the-art in conversational AI. We set the grand challenge of a 20-minute conversation because it's super hard. It's hard even for people to talk 20 minutes sometimes about certain things. It's about 5 to 10 times the state-of-the-art right now in artificial intelligence. So teams were asked to create conversational agents, which we call social bots, that could converse with you coherently and engagingly on popular topics and current events. The Alexa Prize finals were held at Amazon headquarters in the Day One building in downtown Seattle. We had 3 teams that went into the finals. The first team was a team called Alquist from Czech from the Czech Republic. We have a team from Scotland, the Heriot University in Scotland, that's called What's Up Bot. Then finally, last but not least, there was the team from University of Washington, or UW as it's called here in Seattle, called Sounding Board. We spent a lot of effort in structuring the finals in a way that would be both deep and insightful from a science perspective and also fair to all the teams. Judging a conversational competition is super hard because there isn't a clear right or wrong answer, there isn't a clear breaking point. We invited professional conversationalists to interact with the social bots. These were people who were good at public speaking, or they were radio show or talk show hosts and knew how to converse and converse engagingly and well. So their job was to keep the conversation going for as long as possible, to capture the audience's attention and make it as coherent and engaging as they could, to bring out the best in the social bots. We've also brought in 3 professional judges for each round of interactions. The role of the judges was, as listeners, to evaluate how well the conversation was going and decide when the conversation should be stopped. So when they felt that the conversation was no longer coherent and engaging, when they felt that if they were the interactor, they would want to stop right about now, they would push a stop button and signal to us that they were ready to stop this competition. When 2 of the 3 judges pressed the stop button, the conversation was stopped. So the interactor and the social bot are in a separate room and away from the judges and also from our team, because we didn't want them to be distracted by what the judges might be doing. We didn't want them to see when if a judge might have pressed the button, or a judge was shaking their head, or maybe laughing out loud, whatever it might be. We also didn't want the judges to see the interactor and his or her interactions with the social bots to see what they might be feeling. So by setting up the competition's evaluation, the finals in this manner, we wanted to make sure that there was no distraction, there was no influence, there was no interaction. We wanted every individual here to focus on their role and make those decisions independently. So we spent a lot of effort on transparency because we wanted all the teams to know how the judging took place and to feel assured that there was detailed thought that went into the process and there was no bias in the outcome. The finals were structured in 3 rounds of conversations. Each round was with a different interactor. There were 3 judges. Some of the judges repeated between conversations. Some of them were new. Each round consisted of the interactor speaking twice with each of the 3 social bots. So at the end of all 18 interactions, the judges' ratings of 1 to 5 on each conversation are collected, and the social bot with the highest average ratings across its 6 conversations wins the prize. If the winning social bot has an average rating of 4 or higher and has had a 20-minute or longer conversation with 2 of the interactors, they win the grand challenge of $1 million.
Alexa, let's chat.
Welcome to the Alexa Prize Grand Finale. Here's one of the finalists. Hello, this is an Alexa Prize social bot. I think I have already heard your voice. Have we talked before?
We have.
What a faithful chatmate you are. What was your name again?
Mike.
Yeah, I think I remember you, Mike. But let's talk about you. So how is your day going? Would you share with me some of your today's terrific experiences?
I'm at Amazon.com today. How are you?
Well, I'm always busy as people keep chatting with me all the time, which is great, 'cause I love chatting. But listen, where shall we begin? I'll be glad to tell you the latest news or gossip, and I also
Alexa?
like to chat about...
Can we talk about movies?
Cool, I love movies. So, do you have a favorite actor or director?
I like Willem Dafoe.
Did you mean Willem Dafoe, who starred, for example, in Existence or in Manderley?
Yes.
Well, Willem Dafoe is really good. Such actors always have a lot of fans. Did you know? But tell me, which of Willem Dafoe's movies do you like the most?
Boondock Saints.
You mean Boondock Saints, starring Willem Dafoe, Norman Reedus, and Sean Patrick Flannery?
Yes, I do.
What a good movie that is. How many times have you seen it?
15.
Wow. Mike, you must be really a big fan.
So we wanted to give the judges some guidance around what they should be listening for, as well as the interactors some guidance about what kinds of conversations to have. Because conversation is a very open-ended problem, and without any guidance, the interactors might have conversed in a number of different ways and taken the conversation in directions that the social bots were not prepared to handle. We wanted to give them the best shot of putting their best foot forward. We also wanted to give the judges some guidance on what to look for, because people might let the conversation go on too long for different reasons, or they might cut it short too abruptly for different reasons. So at the outset of this competition, we set forward a set of topical areas we wanted the social bots to focus on, and these were sort of news and popular topics in the areas of sports, politics, entertainment, technology, and fashion.
So Mike, are you more into sci-fi or fantasy?
Sci-fi.
Awesome. Personally, I love Star Wars. I always imagine being installed in one of the droids there. How awesome would that be? But back to you. On the topic of sci-fi, I am excited about the new Star Wars movie. Have you seen any of them? Which character do you like? Han Solo or Luke Skywalker?
Han Solo.
Okay, I think you said Han Solo. If I'm not mistaken, Han Solo is a character in the Star Wars franchise. In the original film trilogy,
Alexa?
Han and his...
Can we talk about the news today?
I read this somewhere, Mike. When will Hillary Clinton break her silence on Rick and Morty's Szechuan sauce?
So conversation is perhaps the hardest AI problem I know. It sounds counterintuitive because we do it so naturally, even 5-year-olds can converse. But in order to get anything close to a human-level conversation about everyday topics like you might have with a friend, it requires a lot of science in different parts of the conversation process. So doing conversation well actually involves solving a number of problems. We have two people or a person and a machine speaking with one another. The first thing is we have to understand what was said. So we have to turn speech into text. That's called speech recognition, or ASR, automatic speech recognition. We then have to take that text and figure out what it means. Even if I know the words you've spoken, what did you intend with it, right? So that's the natural language understanding problem. Now, I know what you meant when you said this to me. I now have to figure out, what are you getting at? What is the context of the conversation? What shared knowledge might we have because we just talked about this earlier, or because it's something happening in the world around us? So that's called context. We have to track context across multiple turns in our dialogue. We have to figure out all of the responses to that statement. So if you ask me a question, there might be one right answer. If you're just chatting about social topic, you're chatting about the news, you're chatting about sports or politics or technology or the latest celebrity gossip, whatever it might be, there isn't a right answer. So out of multiple possible answers or responses, what might be the best one at this time in this place in the conversation? So all of those problems have to be solved in order for conversation to work.
Would you like to continue our discussion on books?
Let's talk about the book, The Dark Tower.
Sorry, I'm not sure I know anything about the book The Dark Tower. Would you like to talk about the movie, The Dark Tower? It's a fantasy movie.
Sure.
Super. Did you watch this movie? It was released this year.
I did.
Do you like this movie?
I thought it was pretty good.
Interesting. Nikolai Arcel directed this movie. It has a 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb. It seems to be not that popular. Do you want to hear a review of the movie?
No.
Let's see. Do you like the performance of Matthew McConaughey in this movie?
Yes, it was pretty darn good.
Super. If you like Matthew McConaughey, you would probably also like The Wolf of Wall Street, that came out in 2013. By the way, would you like to know something interesting about Matthew McConaughey?
Yes.
Great. Have you heard of this? Overall sales for Lincoln increased by 25% 1 month after Matthew McConaughey's ad campaign was launched.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, I just heard about this recently. You know what I was thinking? Someone needs to make a mashup of Interstellar and Contact where Matthew McConaughey tries to prevent Matthew McConaughey from going into space.
That's funny.
As you get into a conversation, we're going to create a dialogue together. We're going to spend some time together. We have to figure out how and where to take that conversation. We're both parties in this. Dialogue planning is about sort of figuring out what moves you're going to make in the dialogue. You might just plan one step ahead, you might plan multiple steps ahead. At the current state of the art, most systems are doing one step. Now we have to figure out the problem of, we know which direction we are going to take this conversation. What are we going to actually say, right? And so that's the response generation and then selecting the best response out of the multiple possibilities. That's part of it.
Hi, Alexa, let's chat.
Welcome to the Alexa Prize Grand Finale. Here's one of the finalists. Hi, this is an Alexa Prize socialbot. How's it going?
It's going great. How about you?
Awesome. I'm glad you are doing well today. I'm having a good day. Thanks for asking. Ready to enjoy our chat? If you like, you can tell me your name?
Well, my friends call me John, but you can call me Mr. Pickles.
Excellent. I'm happy to meet you, Mr. Pickles. Let's get to know one another. So, tell me, are you more interested in reading books or watching movies?
Neither. I'm more interested in sports. I do Ironman competitions around the world.
In your opinion, who is a great sports person? I think Roger Federer is awesome.
Why do you like Roger Federer?
Regarding Roger Federer, I heard that Roger Federer overwhelms Marin Cilic in decisive Wimbledon win. Do you want to hear some more about this?
No, I don't. You know, my favorite athlete is Muhammad Ali.
Oh, that's okay. Speaking of sports, what is a sport that you like to watch? I like to watch diving.
For the finals, we gave the interactors some leeway in exploring a set of topics. In particular, we wanted them to play to the socialbot strengths. So if you had a socialbot that was better in talking about, say, entertainment and didn't know as much about sports, it wouldn't be fair to keep talking to them about sports. But we also did tell them to try to cover the breadth of these topics. We didn't want specialized socialbots that only know one thing and nothing else. And so they were asked to explore a range of topics as well as to probe the depths of expertise that a particular socialbot might have.
How about we talk about current events, things in the news?
I read this article from November 7th. The title was, Sky Says It Could Shut Sky News If Fox Takeover Blocked. Did you read about this?
I haven't read that, but I did come across a fun article in the Wall Street Journal today explaining that the fanny pack is coming back into fashion.
This news said something about pig. Would you like to hear something interesting about that?
Sure.
Cool. My friend in the cloud told me that a pig in Australia stole 18 beers from a campsite, got drunk, and then tried to fight a cow.
Alexa, I think you're fooling me.
We gave the teams guidance that we wanted their social bots not to express inflammatory opinions, but they could express opinions. Likewise, they could inject humor into their conversations, but we didn't want them to resort to a sort of series of unrelated jokes, for example, or quizzes that would not be considered a social conversation. Another area of conversation that we had the teams as well as the interactors avoid during the final evaluation was around games or quizzes or horoscopes or jokes or other things that might be fun and engaging but wouldn't necessarily be conversational or advance the state of conversational AI. We wanted this to be a purely social conversation about popular topics and current events that you might have with a friend or someone you meet at a party.
Hello, this is an Alexa Prize social bot. I've got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night, and that I have chatted with you before. Is the latter true?
I have never chatted with you before, although I do have a feeling tonight's going to be a great night.
What's your name, my friend?
My name is Alexa as well.
I'm sorry. I'm afraid that I can't pronounce your name properly. After all, I can't tell you my name either. But let's talk about you. So how is your day going? Is there anything interesting that's happened to you today?
A few interesting things. I had an opportunity to talk to a couple of robots.
So what is it?
So we put a lot of effort into providing the teams with feedback to help them improve their social bot over the year. The primary thing they got was the feedback from customers themselves. As Alexa customers interacted with social bots, they were asked at the end of a conversation to rate the conversation they just had and also provide any kind of free-form feedback to the team. For example, something they did well or something that they didn't like. And that data was all compiled and anonymized and then sent back to the teams to help them improve their conversation.
Alexa, let's chat.
Welcome to the Alexa Prize Grand Finale. Here's one of the finalists. Hi, this is an Alexa Prize social bot. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Glad to hear it. I'm doing good. We could talk about movies, technology, or fashion.
Alexa, let's talk about fashion.
Fashion? Absolutely. We can talk about lipstick. I heard this from my friend last weekend. What did the duck say when buying lipstick? Put it on my bill.
Alexa, is that a joke?
You asked, is that a joke? Good question. I actually don't know. Do you want to continue our conversation on lipstick?
Would you rather talk about politics?
I found this article from last Monday. The title was, Conservatives are posting videos of themselves smashing their Keurigs to smithereens amid Hannity controversy. Did you read about this?
That one, I missed that one, Alexa.
I think the most exciting part to me was how much they improved over the year. So we started out, these teams have shown an improvement of about 24% from the beginning of this competition to now. In other words, if you look at the ratings that they received with millions of interactions over the year with just average people who use Alexa, those ratings have gone up by about 24%, which is a huge amount of progress in 1 year. They also spent a lot of effort on the customer experience. Initially, the focus of these teams was on the research, on the science that was being used to generate these conversations. But as we went along, they realized, based on the user experience, that to engage somebody, they also had to have strategies for engagement, customer experience, and things like asking questions about yourself, things like not going into a sort of series of factual but perhaps boring interactions.
Hello, this is an Alexa Prize social bot. Good morning, my friend. Or is it afternoon? I'm not quite sure.
It's still morning.
Great. Everyone is always full of energy in the morning. So what's your name?
My name is Kim. I think I already know your name.
Hey Kim, it's great to meet you. My name is... Wait, I can't tell you. This is an anonymous competition. Just call me by the wake word you use normally. Well, by the way, I'm a little upset today. You know, there always have to appear a few jokers who try to give me a hard time, saying stuff that doesn't make any sense. As if they didn't know that I'm not a human and I need some cooperation. But enough about my day. So how is your day going? Would you share with me some of your today's terrific experiences?
I would love to, but first I want to ask you a question. Alexa, would you like to talk about baseball?
Wow, the World Series was really something, wasn't it? It was awesome. And it went full 7 games too. Were you rooting for anybody?
I was rooting for the Houston Astros.
Houston Astros? Nice. Why do you like them?
I used to live in Texas.
Oh, by the way, do you want me to check out the standings for you while we are at it as well?
Oh, no thanks. The season's over.
As you get into more advanced topics, and some of the teams did this year in the competition, some didn't because these are more advanced topics. When you say something to me, I also have to figure out your sentiment behind it. I have to figure out your intent. Why are you telling me this? What kind of, are you expressing an opinion? Do you like this? Do you not like that? And so to detect sentiment and other nuances of conversation is a hard problem as well, and some teams started to touch on those issues as well.
Should we talk about politics?
On the topic of politics, who is a politician you admire? I admire George Washington.
He was a great president. Do you have any other favorite presidents?
I'm working on developing a more human personality. Right. In your opinion, who is a good politician? Perhaps Abraham Lincoln?
Abraham Lincoln was a great politician, definitely. Let's see. Ronald Reagan was also considered to be very effective. What do you think about Ronald Reagan?
Okay, I think you were talking about Ronald Reagan. I heard that. Raised in a poor family in small towns of northern Illinois, Reagan graduated from Eureka College in 1932 and worked as a sports announcer on several regional radio stations. Let's chat more about Ronald Reagan.
Do you think Ronald Reagan was a great president?
About Ronald Reagan, I saw this on the news, how Ronald Reagan would have dealt with North Korea. And the way the U.S. won it then was by following President Ronald Reagan's clear and unwavering policy of showing up. Do you want to hear more?
So even though I personally have been interacting with many of these social bots almost every day for weeks now, I was pleasantly surprised by some of the conversations I heard during the finals. The quality, the engagement, and the level of innovativeness that I saw during the competition finals was quite impressive. The social bots had a remarkable ability to deal with ambiguity that's inherent in human language, to deal with fairly complex questions and sentence structures. Weaving that all together into a coherent and engaging conversational experience is super hard. And I saw some really interesting conversations. Even though this thing is, at the end of the day, a device with an artificial intelligence agent on the other end, I saw at many points in the conversation the interactors be surprised and delighted with the conversations they were having, and you could see that in the body language and the facial expressions. If the social bot has the ability to surprise and delight you as the customer and the interactor in this conversation, that's a huge step forward in conversational AI.